Hi, I just wanted to make a quick video to show you where to find some important things on the Palomar website. And I'm going to start by showing you what's available on your MyPalomar account. So on the top here, you see the A through Z, then Canvas, Library, and then MyPalomar. And if you click on that, it's going to give you some options. I use this to sign into my faculty staff MyPalomar account. So I'm going to do that. And your login here is actually going to be your Palomar ID number rather than your name. So for example, I have two options for signing in. I could do my K Velasquez at palomar.edu and my password, or I can use my Palomar ID, and that takes me to the classes that I'm assigned to teach this semester. You can change the term. So for example, if I want to see what I am scheduled to teach in the summer of 2025, or if I want to go to an older term, I can do that. There aren't any icons here yet because enrollment hasn't started for these classes. So the current term is spring 2025, and there's a lot of important information I can get here. I'm going to go through each of these columns and talk to you about those, but I'm going to start with this one that just says class. And if I click on that, it's going to give me some really important detailed information about my class. It's going to tell me the drop deadline, the add deadline, the W deadline. So these are all the dates you would want to include in your syllabus for students to know this. It tells the start and end date of your class. It gives you any important class notes. For example, my students need to take 4 in-person exams during these specific weeks, and that's all listed here. I can hit return to faculty center. Going through these other columns, this first one, class, is this icon with the people. If I click on that, it tells me my roster. A few things I can do here. This is showing my enrolled students. I can show my waitlist students. If I go back to enrolled, I can notify one or all of these students by clicking in the box and then saying notify selected students. I can select all of them, and this will automatically generate an email to them. I do like to email my students this way at the beginning of the semester because some of them are not checking their Canvas notifications yet, but this will usually get their attention. So I often do it both ways at the beginning of the semester. Another thing that I can do here is I can go into my permission roster, and this allows me to give students from the wait list permission to add my class. Now, this is a little tricky. For some reason, you type in their ID and then you hit this magnifying glass, and this will take you to their name. And I can't really demonstrate that right now, unfortunately, because I don't have any students to add to this list. But you have to make sure their name appears here as well, and you have to make sure you hit save at the bottom left here. If you don't do that, it will not save them to the roster here. I'm not sure why that just popped up. Also, if you need to add another person, you have to hit the plus sign here and it will add another row for you to type in their ID number. Let me just see if I can demonstrate this for a minute. If I hit this, nope, this is my name that popped up. But see how it didn't populate my name there? I usually have to hit this magnifying glass again. Now, if I click on my name, it will add it. Okay, but I'm not going to hit save because I don't want to add my own class. Anyway, you can do that there. I don't want to save my changes. Census roster. This is incredibly important. We are required to drop anyone who is not actively participating. So any no-shows at the beginning of the semester will get dropped. Any students who are not actively participating, you'll click on drop and it will ask you for the reason. At the beginning of the semester, it's either no show, or if they showed the first day and didn't come back after that, I usually still report them as a no show. And then at the beginning of the semester, it's usually the second week. So this semester it's due by February 10th. You'll certify this and hit submit. And we are all required to do that. You will get a reminder about this. And then if you don't do it by the deadline, you'll get a nasty gram from somebody telling you you have to do it immediately. You can also download a copy of your roster this way. If you click on this, it will give you a spreadsheet that you can save as an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can add or delete columns. You can do that on your normal roster as well. So going back to the Faculty Center, if I click on my class roster and I click on this download enrolled students to Excel, I can create an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, going back to the Faculty Center one more time. This census column will turn to a drop column at some point. So you are required to drop students throughout the semester who are not actively participating, and that's where you will go to do that. So even after the drop deadline, even after the W deadline, we need to drop students who quit attending. And if it is a financial aid student, they will ask you for the last date of attendance. So please be sure to take attendance every single time that class meets in lecture and in lab. And then finally, this athletic participation survey, you have to periodically fill this out for the athletes. So the athletic department knows that their students are passing their classes. You will also get forms sent or given to you by other students for various reasons to fill out their academic progress. Okay, so that's all on the MyPalomar. There are some other important things you should know how to find on the Palomar website. So let's go back there for a minute. If you go to the single sign-on, there are a couple of ways to do that. One is through the alphabetical listing. Just click on S and then you see single sign-on. The other way to do that is just scroll all the way to the very bottom and click on single sign-on. Now this one requires my K Velasquez at palomar.edu login. And there are a lot of important things here. This 3PD portal, this is where you'll sign up for professional development workshops and classes to get those hours that you can get paid for. If you have questions about that, the professional development website has a lot of really good detailed information about that. And I can send you that link if you don't know where to find it. This My DRC instructor, this is very important. You need to look at this to see if there are any accommodation letters from students for your class. You need to read those and acknowledge receiving those. And then this is also where you will upload tests for students who are taking their exams at the DRC. The student has to go schedule that exam for the specific day and time that you're giving the exam. So, always check to make sure that they scheduled it at the correct time. And then there are various questions on the form that you'll fill out, such as, do you want them to just scan and email a copy of the exam to you, which I highly recommend because that's the fastest way to get it back and get it graded for your students. And they will calculate the extended time. You tell what the normal time limit is for the exam, and they will calculate any extended time for students. So that all happens there. Going back to single sign-on, this is where I access Zoom because to get full capability of Zoom, I access it here. This is where I can save recordings to the cloud. This is where I get unlimited time and unlimited number of people on Zoom and all of those great features that the professional level of Zoom offers. There are some other things here. Some of them I have no idea what they are. This Maverick, this replaced a system we had called Meta, and this is where you can find your course outline of record, your student learning outcomes for your course, a lot of other information about courses. And you can also access Canvas here. I usually access Canvas through the home page. But that's all I wanted to show you in this video today. If you have any questions, let me know.